everyone. I hope you had a good coffee break. So thank you for attending this talk. So here I'm going to talk about Nix and a little bit about taming containers maintenance. So who am I? I'm Jérôme. I'm a product manager at Platform.sh. I know that's a lot of Platform.sh speakers. So, and well, you can reach me out anyway if you want to just discuss about products, or like with Sukman and I, or just talking about Platform.sh or Upsun. I'm here at the booth anyway. All right. So in order to introduce this this talk, I need to explain why we came to that awkward technology, maybe to some people, which is Nix, and it's actually really awesome. So in order to introduce that, I need to talk to you about containers at Platform.sh. So it includes Platform.sh and Upsun. So I'm going to give you some facts. First, well, yes, we're using containers. That's because we're not using Docker, right? We're using LXC. I can tell that it's also for historical reasons, because when Platform.sh started, Docker was not a thing, or barely experimental. While LXC, so Linux containers, were like way more stable and well-known, just like the BSD jail or Solaris zones. That's the same kind of package. So yes, we are using containers. We're using an industrialized orchestration. Of course, we're not using Kubernetes here. That's a piece of software that's called Manufacturer, which maybe at some point we're going to open source it. I would love that. And Debian, yes. Still on the facts, as we're what we want to call horizontal scaling, not horizontal scaling, horizontal PaaS, platform as a service. That's, I know, kind of a buzzword, but what we mean here is that our goal is to be a platform to host any kind of application with whatever the runtime, the main runtime you use for your application. Here, obviously, we're talking about PHP, but not only. Even for PHP, it means like to maintain containers on our platform, we have like one image per version of PHP. So for PHP, it means just for PHP, 11 different images on different OSs, like versions of Debian, with all their dependencies, etc. So it's even possible, yes, I know it's bad, but it's even possible to host like a PHP 5.4 application. Not on Upsun. Don't do that. And yeah, so everything here, that's probably, I hope I haven't forgotten one, but that's all the different runtimes that are available on Platform.sh and Upsun in all the different versions. So that makes 71 images for applications. But that's not only that, because you also need to, your applications need services, database, cache store like Redis or Memcached. You need RabbitMQ or something similar. You need Solar, or you need Elasticsearch or OpenSearch, etc. So that's also, each of these services also have their own container and their own image. So that's even a bigger list here. That's 95 images only for services. So that makes 166 images to maintain. Just to give you a picture, that's 3 people maintaining that full-time. And I'm telling you, they're freaking good at this. So that might be even more. That's really a lot of work and not something that's really nice to do. But that's not it. What about the packages that you need? Because, yeah, of course, you need PHP in your container. But I guess you will need some kind of tool to generate your images, your miniatures, like ImageMagick, for instance. You would probably need something to convert in PDF. I mean, there is a lot of different things that you can do here. So let's add a few packages. So it's close to Christmas, so I made my list for Santa. I want PHP 8.3, obviously, because I'm always running on the bleeding edge. I really want this latest version. Yeah, I also want PHP 2.7. Well, I have this old build script that has been written like a decade ago. I know that, but I'm lazy. So I'm on bleeding edge, but ish. I need ImageMagick. But, the latest major version of ImageMagick is the version 7. There are major changes between the version 6 and version 7. That's what major versions are for, right? But those breaking changes, I'm way too lazy to look at them and to fix them in my code. I should do that, I know, but I will do that eventually. Yeah, and I want LibreOffice, because why not? I mean, partly kidding. Because a few applications that I won't name really need LibreOffice to generate PDFs, convert documents. That's a huge thing. I mean, all right. Oh, yeah. Sorry, that doesn't compute. I won't do the voice. But yeah, that really... Why it doesn't compute? Because that's what we call here dependency hell. First, oh yeah, I didn't mention the eerie PHP extension, because I want this very nasty thing that no one uses anymore. And I like this word eerie, because at first it's just odd, just awkward, and it becomes sinister. Yeah, usually if you try to do that on a normal system, because here we're talking about one application image. Of course, we could get help with other containers. But here we're talking about your application container, because, for example, the ImageMagick, you need it in your application container to be able to call it from your PHP script. And you need this Python stuff because in order to build your piece of software, you absolutely need that. And actually, I have a little anecdote. This is no, it's not random that I'm mentioning PHP 8.3. Well, it was 8.2 and Python 2.7. Exactly 1 year ago, when PHP 8.2 came out, Fabien wanted to upgrade the Symfony.com website to use PHP 8.2. And it broke. Why did it break? Because he had this Python scripts that no one uses anymore. For generating the documentation, we're using Sphinx. But a very old version of Sphinx that needed PHP 2.7. And the problem is that in the PHP 8.2 image, in order to get it, we had to do an upgrade of the OS, right? To get to the latest Debian version. PHP 8.2 fine, but Python 2 was gone. Try to compile it now with PHP just alongside. And you will end up with something like this. Yeah, that's a XKCD cartoon. Like every now and then, I realized that I'm maintaining a huge chain of technology solely to support itself. That's usually how it becomes. So, what's next? What is there a solution for this? Yeah, of course, there is a solution. It's called Nix. Yeah, okay. So what is Nix? And why is it so awesome? It's a functional package manager. What does that mean? Is that first, it's supported by a functional language. But it's first and foremost means that all the packages are actually treated like values. And as it's functional programming, all the functions that are used to generate the packages, we call that derivations in Nix. They cannot have side effects. And they are built in total isolation. So how do we do that? First, it's not possible to have undeclared dependencies because, for example, if you use deb files or RPM files, it can happen actually quite often that dependencies are not declared like that. It can happen also if you're using Homebrew on macOS or on Linux, that can also happen. Here it's not possible. You cannot build something without declaring it. And, well, the good thing about Nix is that you can say it works on my machine. Because if it works on my machine, it will work on another machine, and I can give you the stamp. So I said that it's all the packages are built in total isolation. How is that possible? Well, first you have like this, what we call the Nix store. So Nix store in /nix/store. It's basically always /nix/store. I know you can probably change that, but don't do it. Every package lies there. And every package has files. Usually there are like directories and files under that in the Nix store. And they're stored with this kind of hash. Well, it's not complete here. And this hash is actually the unique identifier that captures the package itself and all its dependencies. It's a SHA-256 hash, and that what makes it unique and makes it possible to have everything to be run and built in total isolation. Which makes it seamless to have like several packages. Several versions of the same package. So even like PHP 5.4 alongside PHP 8.3, which will be very hard to do even if you compile it, it's actually possible. So as I said, it's supported by a functional language. When you're just using it, you don't have to learn much about it. Of course, the more you dig into Nix, you will have to learn what is called Nix expressions. So there are Nix files with it's actually very easy functional language where you're building kind of JSON-like stuff, but more advanced, kind of. And those Nix expressions will be evaluated in order to create those derivations. So each time that you build a Nix package, a Nix expression with saying, I want this package and this package and this package, and having also shell hooks to build everything, all this will become a new derivation of the Nix store with everything that you asked for. And it's also backed by Nix packages, which is the biggest the biggest package store in the world. As far as I know, it's more than 80,000 packages that are available. It's actually a huge GitHub repository, which Nix just requests whenever you want to install something. By default, everything is built from the ground up, so it's compiled. Hopefully, yes, there is also some cache, so pre-built binaries for most of the platforms. But it can happen that you actually need to compile something. So that's a very old picture, actually, because it's like showing Subversion 1.2. But that's actually a very good example. Because so on the left side, it shows like how it's supposed to work. Like you want the hello package here. The hello package depends on libc. Of course, everything depends on libc if you want to compile something. But that's the point, because it needs libc, glibc 2.3.5, which itself has libc so.6. So that's the point, because if you rely on your own glibc from your operating system, you will have issues, probably. And same for Subversion here. The SVN one needs libsvn, which needs a specific version of libssl 0.9.7. Don't do that. That's really not safe. Which itself also needs libdb, etc., etc. So if we zoom in on a specific one, this is actually like in bold what we have. And every package is treated like that. So thanks to the hash, everything is actually completely isolated. All right, so now let's try again. And I try to do a little demo. I still want my PHP 8.3 because it rocks. With my eerie extension, well, I chose one. I chose soap. Nobody uses soap these days, right? I mean, except for the shower, etc. But well, that's also convenient because I'm running on a Mac. I still want my PHP 2.7. Spoiler alert, if you try to install it even with Nix, it will warn you that it's definitely not safe, so I have to override it. So I did add a specific environment variable for this, and ImageMagick. I dropped LibreOffice on purpose because we don't have 2 hours to build it. So let's try. OK, so for this, I'm going to use Nix shell. So Nix shell is like the command. Maybe I should zoom in more. Yeah. Nix shell is a command that is used to create a temporary environment in your terminal with the packages that you want. So I'm going to put it in verbose so that you can see what's actually happening. I pre-downloaded everything so that we don't have to wait 10 minutes. And so I said, I want PHP 8.3. Well, if I want PHP 8.3, I said PHP 8.3 extensions.soap. No, not 3, 8.3. I'm sure you can manage to compile a PHP 3 with that, but I won't try it. PHP 8.3 packages, because I want Composer as well. So yeah, and what did I do? All right, Python 2 and ImageMagick 6. So what it's doing is evaluating all the different Nix files, all the Nix expressions from every dependencies for the few packages that I run here. And you can see that's a lot. So that's basically what's happening in your OS when you try to build something. And like maybe I can take one for Vim. Perfect. Each Nix package is composed like that. So that's actually Nix language. We don't have to dissect that, but this is like very, very simple thing, like just assigning variables and generating outputs. So, and this one is very, very tiny. OK, so basically it's evaluating it. And now, oh, I tried first, maybe I need to show you which version do I have here on my system without Nix. I have PHP 8.2.3. I don't have, well, I only have Python 3, but I don't have the command Python. And about convert, which is ImageMagick, I'm using here ImageMagick 7.1. Now, all right. Now I do have PHP 8.3. I do have ImageMagick 6.7. That takes a long time to compile. And yeah, of course, Python. Still have Python 2. That's 7. Oh, let's check if we have soap. All right, we do have soap. We can take a shower. All right. That's basically what it is. But it can be very tedious just to run a shell and specifying each package. That's great for testing a new piece of software. That's perfect. But if you will want to automate it in some way, there are a lot of different ways to do that. But just for the Nix shell, let's just try to have just a script that loads everything. So leveraging very simple Nix language. So I created already for you. And that's it. So I'm just making a shell and yeah, just declaring all my inputs, my dependencies. And I even want to give a shell hook, like, all right, hello Symfonicon. So now with this, I don't even need to run with all the options. Just running like Nix shell. And here we go. All right. Well, that was for the fancy demo. So yay, I managed. Well, we can try with LibreOffice, but not today. What it means now is that thanks to this, for our own systems, we can drop from 166 images to maintain to one-ish composable image to maintain. And that's actually a huge win. Well, the ish is because we probably want to maintain different images from different services, for instance. And if you're using Docker, I'm sure you're all using Docker. You can even use Nix to generate a proper Docker image. When I say proper, is like based on your packages, you're building an image, not the other way around. You can, of course, you can also do that, but and there is a Nix image, by the way, for Docker. But thanks to this, it makes it much, much easier to add packages and tools in your stack. So that's not only for us maintaining a huge infrastructure with so many containers. That's also useful for everyone. And I'm sure that you probably encountered that issue of compiling that tool that needs that lib, which needs that lib, which is that lib. And finally, you give up and try to use Docker instead, because usually that's actually the meme that we see. Dependency hell, that's why we invented Docker. That's not entirely true, because this can also happen in Docker. So yeah, that's basically it. Well, okay, I'm pretty early. So yeah, thank you for your attention. And by the way, here in the room, we do have the maintainer of the whole PHP stack for Nix. He is hiding himself. So yeah, he would tell you, I mean, stories about all this. So thank you for listening. And well, yeah, this is some advertisement. Thank you. So obviously, we have time for questions. Oh yeah, the cube. All right. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for the talk. What base image are you using for your Docker images? Oh no, you use LXC.
Yeah.
But
Well,
is there a base image as well?
I'm sorry, I just couldn't hear you.
Is there a base? What kind of base are you using for your images?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, that's basically Debian, and Debian using LXC, and so the base is like raw stuff, so from scratch.
All right. Thanks.
You said you can create an X configuration from your machine. So does it mean that it will fix the version of every package you have in your machine forever?
Oh, forever.
Since you upgrade again, of course.
Yeah, so indeed, and that brings me to something that I haven't mentioned, that Nix is also now an operating system. You can use it as an operating system. So you can use it and manage all your package that way, and upgrade whenever you like. So it brings the question, I mean, your question brings a question of pinning, version pinning. So yeah, if you just choose PHP 8.3, whenever you want to upgrade your stack, it will upgrade 8.3 until it ends, right? You will have to upgrade to use another version like 8.4 when it's out to upgrade to it, and it would do the same for every package, depending on how they're maintained. For example, well, ImageMagick is a bad example, but LibreOffice, they have 2 channels, so for short. They have 2 channels. The channel that I can't remember exactly, current or fresh, and the other one that the not stable. They call it something fancy. So it's basically the latest, like bleeding edge, and the current known stable version. So you're free to choose one of those. But even if you're like following the main Nix packages channel, you can always pin packages. And to do that, you just have to refer to the commits that for your the commit on GitHub in Nix packages. Say, okay, I want this one. I want PHP 5.4. This is on this commit hash. Just provide it, and you're done. And then if you pin it, it won't upgrade unless you release the pin and to pin it to another version.
How do you share your configurations between developers, and do you just commit or push to some sort of packages manager the Nix file with everything inside, or do you have something built and then share directly?
Well, the easiest part is to write just a Nix expression like I did, but not like for the Nix shell. It's a bit more complex. With a file called default.nix. which you'll be able to run a build. I'm looking at my Nix mentor here, but so that I don't. So basically, yeah, you would have in your repository some Nix files, probably a default.nix for the stack you're currently defining, and that's it. Anyone can run, like, you can even do a make file and say, yeah, make up, and it will run the Nix command with the default.nix, and that will be done. And everyone will have the same stack.
Okay. And is there any compatibility process with Docker image Docker files or something?
Not as I'm aware of, especially considering that Nix has a bunch of tools to help you generate Docker images.
Okay.
So all the layers will be built for you by Nix. But well, that's one way of using it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, just here.
How do we deploy it? So is there a platform as a service for Nix?
Well, that's for Platform.sh. It's about to be launched, so that, yeah, for now it will be launched in the next couple of weeks as an experimental feature, because we're still working on it. But basically, on your YAML file, instead of saying I want this type PHP 8.3 and having a lot of things in your build hook, you will just have to say, okay, stack, I want PHP 8.3 and this and that and this and that, and automatically it will use the Nix image. So you don't have to even bother about it. Maybe at some point we'll allow Nix expressions so that you can even customize even more. And yeah, spoiler alert, maybe also Docker stuff.
Okay, so basically we're using Nix in our development environment, but I want a production environment based on Nix. So how do I do that right now? If I want to just deploy my default.nix file, or I don't know, flake.nix, what's the best way right now to do it?
Currently, well, this would not be possible right now, but I'm sure we can figure something out here. And I would be very interested to discuss this matter with you furthermore, especially considering that we would like to allow this kind of stuff so that you can evaluate Nix expressions for your containers at build time.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
How does it work under the hood? I mean, is it some kind of LD preload magic, or some static binaries for the dependencies of the binaries or the package?
Yeah, so that's the cache.nixos.org. So that there is a huge platform to pre-build all these dependencies, all these packages, common packages, basically. And if it's not present, it will just compile. But you can even go further, and if you're not satisfied with that, you can always build an overlay, saying, okay, I want to use my cache layer so that will build all my dependencies, and my local Nix or my infrastructure will pick it first before the NixOS cache. Does that answer your question? Okay. All right. Thank you, folks. Thank you for attending. Thank you for your time.